I think all of financial services runs on technology. Having a good technology partner is key to your business, and Miles has been fortunate to be a dominant player in India, partnering a number of you in the room, as well as other organizations around the world in this space. As we see, what's happening is digital has taken over our lives. Most of you, even in this room, are looking at your phones, doing emails while you still listen. Multitasking is a way of life. The internet minute is kind of staggering in terms of numbers of what happens and what that does to us. Most of you would have read about the internet minute. 150 emails per minute go across the world. 20 million Facebook views, 2 million Google searches. It's all happening. And that's the way the world is. And the number that staggered me most was that every day for business purposes, something like 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are being generated. It's a huge change from a few years ago, and that's technology for you, and that's the digital world. I don't know how many of you know how much a quintillion would be, and that was my first question when I read that myself. It's a number followed by 18 zeros. So it's a billion. And just to give you a scale and perspective, if you took in, as a human being, 1 megabyte of that data every minute, it would take you your lifetime to get through 25 quintillion bytes. So clearly, we need some help over there. And that's really where the new technologies that are coming in. Today, I'm not sure if you know, there are twice as number of connected devices as there are human beings on this planet. There was a time when you could measure that if there are human beings, the most common thing would be a toothbrush, because there'll be as many toothbrushes as there are human beings. But quickly, connected devices have outnumbered that. So we're going to have to use the help of machines to get our jobs done. Because what you need in the digital world is finding a way to do what a lot of the wealth managers have done in the past. The private banker has been somebody who has inculcated trust. And how do you get trust in the digital world? How do you get trust out there in new business models that have been alluded to, where you're looking to scale and grow, right? So really, you have to find a way to ingest this huge amount of data that's coming in from various sources. It's not only text, it's not only just the written word, it's videos, it's people talking, it's images, it's a whole slew of digital exhaust as you speak that's coming out over there. I think clearly technology needs to address these business goals, which you have, reduce cost of engagement. The British bank that has started using cognitive in its daily management of wealth for clients is looking at saying, if my current RM manages 80 clients well, how do I make that 5x that? It's not to replace the human being, it's to scale him. And that's really part of what you're going to have to do to achieve cost. I think we talked earlier saying 20 billion worldwide globally is the break-even point for wealth managers. How do you get to that 20 billion as individuals? Yes, cost paradigms are different, but they're quickly catching up. I mean, you take salaries and compensation packages 5 years ago, they're much higher today. But have AUMs grown by that number? Have you kept pace with that? Technology is a solution. It's not a replacement solution, it is a augmenting solution. I think that's key over there. What is cognitive, right? In simple sense, it's a four-step process. You got to source a lot of data. Some of you got internal, but a lot of new things you'll hear. Unstructured data. There's no structure to that data. Traditionally, systems have been deterministic. They say A plus B is equal to C. They've not been in the gray area. A plus B equal to C because A is in column 1, B is in column 2, so you can determine, like in Excel, in a grid, you can give a formula and you'll get that number. What do you do when the information's an image? What do you do when the information's a video? How do you contextualize that? How do you ingest it? How do you process it? And then how do you deliver it to everybody that requires it? That's the whole cognitive process. And it's here and it's now. And I think one thing to realize is that cognitive is a journey, pretty much like it's seen on this chart. You have to embark on that journey. Earlier, you bought a phone and it was best when it was brand new, right? As it got older, it got scratched, it got used, it depreciated. A cognitive system actually improves with age because just like the human brain, it learns more, it ingests more. The more it ingests, the more it learns, the more it gives back to you. So how do you apply a cognitive system, right? Traditionally, as wealth managers, we've all done models, we've segmented clients, we've said, hey, you're aggressive, you're passive, human being can manage 100 models, a bigger and better organization might have 150 models or 200. How about coming to the persona 1, which means if you have 10,000 clients, you have 10,000 models because each individual is unique. He has a unique set of preferences, he has a unique set of ideas, he has a unique set of needs. How do you learn about that? And he has much less time for you than he had 10 years ago, just because of the fact that the digital world is taking him over. All of them, just recently read a report by PwC on the number of HNIs that are online. And I think I was staggered by that. The number says north of 60%. That's a huge number given the fact that most of the high net worth individuals today are not millennials. Can you imagine what would it be when the millennials become more and more high net worth individuals? The number is surely going to reach 90%, and then you have very little time. So you really have to find out about your client in ways other than being able to meet with him. And that's the machine learning process in cognitive. And like I said, it's a journey. You have to start with your systems that are cognitized and move forward from there. And that's what we at Miles have done, partnered with the leading players in the world, people who created Watson, which is by IBM, one of the leading places of cognitive learning. Watson's claim to fame was it did better than a human being at the game called Jeopardy. Google's done a lot more on this. Microsoft has done a lot more. They're all learning from it. I think the mantra is, how do you continue in this digital world to make your digital face to your client as trusted as we all trust Google? Google is God, right? You type something to search, and he already is thinking like you and giving you a response of what you're likely to be searching for. Why? Because he's tracking your behavior, he's tracking your mannerisms of what you've searched before, what you might have searched on Facebook, what you might have done on Twitter. It's all integrated and connected. I think that's really the key. And over here, if you see, the green ones are what we're not tracking with technology today, or that's outside the technology that we control, or the technology silos, or the databases that we control as institutions. How do you go outside of that? And that's where we've been focusing our work in the last 6 to 9 months to come up to our clients with the right solutions in this space. The idea is to empower the client as well as empower the RM. It's not in replacement of either. I think that fact that wealth management runs on trust and relationship, right? It's not to replace the RM, it's to empower him better. It's to respond in the digital age where even the high net worth client that was willing to wait for an answer 6 months ago or a year ago for 10 minutes wants the answer in a minute right now. So how do you do that? You're going to only be able to do it when you can ask a question in a natural language, right? So you all know that your research team will give you a recommendation to a client saying, hey, go recommend to your client to buy this product, right? So you'd like to ask the question, is this the most suitable product when he's just lost a job? Simple question like that would give you a different response from a cognitive system, which would go back to his history, go back to his preferences, go back to maybe his LinkedIn search as to where he's got opportunities, look at all those behavioral parameters and then give you that answer to say, does this make sense to recommend to the client now, or should I push this, or should I not push that? It's all about empowering him with that. I think the trust factor cannot be underestimated, right? So you need to know what this delivers. And I think the power of the cognitive system is that it's going from deterministic to probabilistic. It's not giving you a black and white answer. It's giving you an answer with a reasonable level of confidence. And cognitive systems tell you, here's the answer, here's my confidence level, and it'll give you the evidence on which it picked up that confidence level. And that's key for an advisor and a wealth manager, because that's often where we fail. He'll ask you a question, and there is talk about attrition, about keeping the relationship manager in an organization for a period of time. We all need to do that, but everybody needs to learn and be able to respond to the market learnings as well. And that's critical to make the client trust him and allow him to do more with his wealth and go deeper as a share of wallet, which are all parts of the mantra that the client asks you to do, right? I think the MoneyWare suite is pretty complete in its overall sense. What we're finding is the pockets of interest are really in advisor engagement and client engagement. We've got a tablet solution out there. It gives a recommendation or it gives a portfolio view. The next generation of it comes back and says, here's what he did last week. Here are my peer groups. Here are the peers that he's talking to. And here's the digital trust factor that he's building. The old way, when you were looking at answering a risk profile for a client, you would go to the client, meet with him, and you would talk to him about his preferences. And as the RM talked to him, he would be able to take in the subtle differences of how he answered the question or how much he hesitated. How do you get that in a digital world? These are all things that are being pondered about by companies and by technology. So how much did he hover? If I tell him, I give him 4 pictures instead of asking him 4 questions and 4 bullets, 4 pictures of saying, are you happy with the loss of 20,000? Are you extremely dissatisfied and you show an angry face? He might ponder about that and hover about it. Are you trapping that hovering, that he's actually undecided about this and then doing something about that? That's the power of cognitive computing, of being able to take that digital exhaust, as you speak, of things that you're doing, things that are not translating into transactions, but you're doing in your behavioral aspects in the online world. How often you type out WhatsApp messages? Are you doing anything on WhatsApp and allowing that to make things happen much more quickly and much more effectively? These are key parts of what we're building on and have ability to deliver at a choice of the client whenever they choose to do that. Our tablet-based applications, mobile-based applications, web-based applications are all available for this, and a number of the clients are embarking on that journey to be able to do this and make it happen.